but it's the word that drives my work, which is about making it easier for people to innovate and helping people to create purpose-driven innovation. Why? Because our world needs it right now. Our world really needs purpose-driven innovation. So, this is my first time to Bulgaria. Thank you. And here I am on your fabulous streets, the yellow brick road, the cobbled streets of Plovdiv. It's fantastic just walking around. What I was amazed with was that underneath the surface, you've got all this history. You probably just walk by, don't you, every day now. It's just normal to you, yeah? You're seeing, the amphitheatres, and you're seeing all of this treasure underneath the ground. But it got me thinking about the story of Bulgaria and how your cities tell your story in the artifacts, the relics, the treasures underneath the ground. And today, what we're really looking at is you continuing this story, the story of Bulgaria. You may stay here, you may go to other places, but you are continuing to tell a story. And the other night, I was up on the mountain, Vitosha, have I got it right? Yeah. And what I was thinking about is I was standing up there with Andre and Ivo, and I just thought, this is about perspective. This whole summit here is about taking a day out. And it's about you really looking at your life and thinking, okay, where am I? What am I doing? It's having that bird's eye view and looking down and seeing all those lights of the beautiful city. So take today, and I'm sure you already are, you've had lots of opportunity to share with each other around your tables. But take today as a real precious gift that you can spend this time really thinking about your journey, your story, your next step, your next innovation step. So what I'm going to do today is to take you through a model that I've invented. It's called the 6 Eyes of Innovation. It's a practical roadmap for innovating. I'll tell you a little bit about my story and how I came to invent it, and then we'll dive into the different elements. And then after that, you can spend some time thinking about it, about where you are on the 6 Eyes of Innovation with your ideas, whether it's in your entrepreneurial venture, the venture you'd like to create, or whether you're inside an organisation working. We've had some great stories today about who we are, and we all know we're far more than what we see. We know that we're more than our personalities even. We're more than our likes or our dislikes. We're more than our preferences. But often who we are emerges through the journey of life. We don't know exactly what we are like and what we really want until we have experiences that start to shape us, that start to form us. And it's in that area where we start to feel that motivation, that pull, that tug that's saying, yes, it's like a whisper. This is what you're about. This is what you like to do. This is where your purpose might lie. But in life, we all know, we get busy, even if we're doing the most worthy of work. We take too much on, we're pulled here, we're pulled there, we have too many priorities, and that little flicker of motivation of why we originally started out on the journey gets buried. A bit like under the ground, walking around the city. It's underneath. And time goes by. Time goes by. We say, hang on a minute, I've got all of this to do. I've got to focus on this. And this other aspect of ourselves that's pulling us, we stop listening to it. I love this quote, it's by an American psychologist called Rollo May. The opposite of courage is not so much fear as it is conformity. we can just keep doing what we're doing, even if it's noble work, because we're conforming to something, but there's something else that's tugging us. There's something else saying, hey, this is where we need to go next. Isn't this why we all like stories? I mean, who likes stories here? Yeah? Adventure films, adventure stories. I'm actually an aspiring novelist as well, so I'm writing my first novel, and I'm 25,000 words in. So I think it's interesting when you start to think about your life as a story. And we start to craft these stories of who we are over time. We're all going on these heroes' journeys, aren't we? And we're learning a lot about that. But the classic storytelling structure is a character having a desire, having their weakness under pressure, and having that call to adventure. And this is what we start to see. This isn't quite as lovely as Wallace's nice one from earlier on, but it's the hero's journey map, yeah? We have that call to adventure. It's like something is calling us. That purpose, that motivation, that desire is calling us. And then we start to move out on the journey. And we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but that's part of the journey. So let me take you a little bit back to what's shaped me in recent history anyway, and why I created the 6 Eyes of Innovation. Now, I have a background in my career since really I started in the field of innovating, whether as an entrepreneur, in startups, accelerators, incubators, corporate incubators, or corporate innovation. So I've been working a long time and trying to get new things out into the world. And it was 2010, and I had left the corporate world. So those of you that want to make the jump, you can listen to this. It's a great thing to do, but those of you who have made the jump, we all know it's a hard slog as well, isn't it? But the rain was pouring and pounding against the window. I was in London. It was 2010, and I was in the middle of what? What was happening? 2010 in the world. It was raining. Raining. Sorry?
As usual.
Yes. It was raining a global recession. And I had left the corporate world and I'd set up my own business, the NPO network, and I'd been working with corporates doing proposition development and new product development work. And I set up this really funky, crazy boutique consultancy in London. And I was living the dream. I was living the dream. I'd hired all these people, had this great art gallery space. Then recession hit. What happens in recession? Services go under. And one by one, they were getting text messages. Sorry, we can't continue with this project. Sorry, we can't continue with this project. One by one, our clients were dropping out, and I had to cut costs radically. I had to lay off people, and a lot of them had become my very good friends. Now, the business that I set up really was focused on what we call the what of innovation, whether it's new products or services, the how of innovation, skills building, it's about capability building, and also the purpose, the why of innovation. So bringing those 3 elements together. But what I started to see as this was starting to happen, and I had to take drastic measures, it's like, going back to that story structure, you're suddenly under pressure. You have an opponent, and in this case, it was the opponent of the recession. And I was heartbroken. I'd invested everything, my whole life, all my money, everything. Even my husband left corporate world to join me. So yeah, we're in the boat together. And that was a really tough time. But in that dark time, I got an email from Singapore, from a professor that I'd met at the Singapore Management University. And he said, Natalie, I'd love you to come and speak at a conference. Would you like to come over to Singapore? And I thought, yeah, bleak grey England, sunny Singapore, let's go. So off I went. And I was amazed that in that time, flew from obviously the UK to Singapore, I had 22 meetings in 4 days with companies that were interested in innovation. So I flew back home, I said to my husband, what are we doing in England? Why don't we we go to Asia? Let's pack up. Let's pack up our stuff, rent out the house, and go. So we did. So we moved. We flew over to the other side of the world. We set up a company in Singapore, and we started building again, this time in Asia. And it was interesting, around that time, I had another good mentor, Neil. So there was Dr. Kerbal Singh from Singapore and Neil Mehta in the UK. And he said to me, Natalie, and I do wonder sometimes, would this have happened had the recession not happened and everything else happened? You never know, do you? You just don't know how life is going to work out. But the important thing is to look at the opportunities and seize them and take hold of them. And anyway, Neil said to me, Natalie, you know tons about innovation. Why don't you change the model? You know, all we know really in the innovation field is these very linear, technological research and development funnels, where we have loads of ideas and pop, out comes an innovation. If only it was so easy to innovate. If only it was a nice straight line, but it isn't. So I invented a model, along with clients, psychologists, different thinkers, with the people that we were working with, organisations, and it's called the 6 Eyes of Innovation. And it's a circular map, it's an iterative map, and it says we have different stages that ideas go through in order to create value. And at the centre of it, you can see, is purpose. Why? Why are we innovating in the first place? What is it that we want to create? And the 2 triangles that link purpose to each stage of the innovation journey stand for culture and process. There isn't just one culture of innovation, even if it's for ourselves or a small team. We need to have these 6 very different types of cultures to make ideas work, and we'll go through them in a moment. So what I did, after building out the model, testing it, validating, collecting tons of research, building assessment tools, you can go online and find out what sort of innovator you are. I wrote a book, and it was Business Book of the Month last year, both in the UK and in Singapore. But is that the end of the story? We all go home now? Oh, well, that's fantastic. No, of course not. Our story continues. Our story is always continuing, and we're always going up and down. There are dead ends, there are roadblocks along the way. But the important thing is to be constantly aware that we're on this journey, this hero's journey. So that's why I'm telling you a little bit about the story. If we look at the classical storytelling structure, there are allies. The fact that I'd met Kerbal Singh in Singapore at a creativity conference a few years ago and networked. So are you networking? You never know, anybody in this room could be a great ally to you, a great help to you in the future. You might get an email pinged to you saying, come on over to Asia. So network, build allies, build that structure. But we also have those opponents, the things that come up against us. And that's why resilience is so important. That's why stamina is so important. That's why having a strong body and mind is so important. If we are to be heroes on heroes' journeys, we've got to be looking after ourselves. Central to this is purpose. And I believe, my purpose, how I articulate it for myself, is to inspire and enable people to create purpose-driven innovation that's going to change the world for the better. That's my life. If I'm not doing that every day of my life, then I'm not living on purpose. So as you start to think about your purpose, it's quite nice to just get a craft something in your own mind as to what that might sound like, that really helps to drive and motivate you. Now, in terms of finding purpose, I believe it's 3 key elements that you need to look at. One is motivation. What is it that really motivates and drives you? What's the red thread in your own life? What's that thing that just comes up over and over again that you just feel so excited about? 2, skills and talents. Your craft. The things you're good at. The things that you know that you bring to the table, you are able to make work. And 3, opportunity. What opportunity fits your motivation and your skills and talents? If you bring those together, you start to find where your purpose sits. And that may change in different areas. So let's dive into the 6 Eyes now. And then you're going to have a chance in your mastermind groups to think about yourselves. So you can use this as a roadmap. elements or stages: identify, ignite, investigate, invest, implement, and improve. Identify has the craft of curiosity. It's able to look out into the world and spot an opportunity, to see a problem that needs to be solved. So think about yourself. What opportunities are emerging for you right now? Maybe you want to go off and explore it. How can you do that? How can you go off and explore an opportunity that might be rising for you? Ignite. Think of the match, the light, the red, the passion, the fire. The craft of the igniter is ideas, solutions. They're great problem solvers. They have the mindset of creativity. So what ideas are emerging for you in an opportunity? Don't just get an idea that doesn't have a problem to solve. Don't just get an idea that's just so random, it's not actually going to help anybody. Try and link ideas to opportunity. Far more likely to get traction when you start to try and bring it into the world. Investigate. Cool blue. Critical mindset. Need to stand back, look at something. Is it going to work? Not work? How do I make it work? What ideas most resonate with your purpose? If you start to think about what the purpose is, what you're trying to do, what excites, what motivates you. Invest. Green, often the colour of money. I call this the graveyard of ideas. So many ideas can be bobbing around those first three eyes. Oh, opportunity, idea, let's go and test. Opportunity, idea, let's go and test. You've got to get into invest, to get traction, to move it into the world. And this is why so many innovation models are not complete. You can do all the great design thinking and not create value and impact. And this is why invest is such a critical phase of ideas. The mindset of courage. We don't always know what's going to happen. We've got to step out. So what might you need to commit to in order to have courage to take that next step? To leave your comfort zone. The fifth eye, implement, purple, the colour of royalty, the hardest colour historically to make. Hard work. Hard work. This is where you make an idea work. You're working out the best way to get it out there, to make and have an impact. And you need commitment. The mindset of commitment and resilience. So, who are your guides? Think about the people on your journey. Who can help you? Otherwise you can just hang around so long in idea land that you can't get the idea out. This is why we need implementers, and implementers are innovators, not just creators being innovators. We need great implementers, people that can drive ideas out into the world. And the last one, improve. Improve. With that clever mindset, being able to look at something and say, can I productize? Can I leverage? I work in a services-orientated industry. If you work in services, you've got to learn how to productize. If you're going to scale, if you're going to go global, you've got to learn to productize and leverage intellectual property. Otherwise, you will be forever in a service-based project model. And it's really important if you want to grow and get your ideas out there to have impact. So what have you learned from the past that can help you? What experiences in the past or from other people can you leverage and help you drive your ideas out there? And finally, purpose. Remember purpose. Always come back. You may be an ignite, get back into purpose. You may be an investigate, get it back into purpose. Is your idea going to take you to where you want to go? So, in conclusion, remember I started by saying as I was walking the streets, looking under the ground at all these layers, these epochs of history. We've all got stories, and we've all got experience, we've all got great skill sets and crafts. So if you were to dig deeper into your life, to listen to that flame, that fire of motivation, to have the courage to take the next step into wherever you need to go, not just for yourself, but because the world needs it. This isn't just about us. This is for a bigger purpose, a bigger collective purpose, a bigger consciousness that we we are part of, collectively, at this point in history. Now, your ideas might not take you to the other side of the world like they have I. Maybe they will. But the important thing is that we have ideas, and we're not just leaving them in idea land. We're getting them into the invest stage. We're getting them into implementation. We're working a model to be able to say, right, let's now optimize, let's leverage, let's scale. It's in these moments we transform. We become bigger. Not because we are egoic, but because we can have bigger impact. We can affect more people's lives. If your voice isn't your own, whose is it? This is about us being out in the world and having a bigger, stronger impact to make the world a better place. This is our time in history. So use the 6 eyes as a living, breathing map. Think of it. We have big floor maps that we use. Stand on it, and they stand on purpose and move. Coach yourself. I'm an igniter on this model. That means I'm an idea generator. I'm an identify igniter. But I know if my idea needs implementation improvement, there's no point me igniting all the time. I'm never going to get anywhere. What does your idea need? What craft does it need? Which of the eyes does it need right now to drive it through and to create value and impact in the world around you? So I've got these 6 areas. You just have to pick one, or pick any of them, and in your mastermind groups, start to think about where you are on the 6 eyes. Where is your idea? What does it need next? And remember, it's not round and round in circles we go, it's iterative. Innovating is an iterative process. It requires us to go backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, constantly, until we get the traction we need to drive it out to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. I have got injuries on a very weird places